Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. Hope you're all doing very well today. As you can see, we're doing some more live footage. We are starting up a brand new league. This is a friendly league. That's probably where I'm going to stay for the near future while I'm doing live commentary, at least. It's just, again, as I've said before, I guess I don't think anybody really plays as optimally as possible while they're talking, but for me, I'm still new to commentating while playing, so I'm already handicapping myself enough as is, I guess, being new to this whole process, so I will not be risking more tickets than I need to by going into competitive league. So friendly league it is, again, at least for now. And as you can probably tell, we still do not have the replays back. If anybody knows what's going on with that, if you've heard anything, or if you've experienced something like this before, extended lack of functionality in the replays, I would love to hear more about it. I've never personally noticed this before, but then again, I don't think I would have, because I never really messed around all that much with the replay function until I got the big idea to start up this channel. So, maybe this is not that uncommon, wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, I would appreciate any insight on that. Also, I have made one very simple tweak to the list that I've featured in my deck tech most recently, and that is that I have switched out a Spell Bomb into the main deck and put a Lily the Last Hope into the side. Just a simple 1-for-1 swap. The 75 remains the same, but it's just a minor hedge, excuse me, against the graveyard decks in the meta. Now, we have to mulligan this, unfortunately. Always hate to mull. We're going to keep it, but it's very slow. Very, very slow. These cards don't particularly work that well together either, but not going to go to 5. It's a functional keep. At least our opponent is mulling as well. Now, this is a tough one. We're on the play. I think we'll keep that on top. You could really go either way with that, but maybe we'll keep that on top and run out our fetch land first. That way, if they show us a fast deck and we need more action, we can shuffle it away. Little less than ideal use of the tracker landfall triggers here, but uh-oh. Oh, interesting. Okay, fetch a basic forest into a noble hierarch. Alright, I guess this is the type of deck where we're going to need some earlier action than a turn 3 Lily if we can at all find it, so sure. Fetch away that Quagmire. And your hierarch is good. Well, we've got another Lily. I'm just very, very glad we're on the play. We do have a powerful hand. Our opponent mulled. I guess there's an off chance they're just stuck. Nope. Stuck on lands and having to do something suboptimal. Duskwatch Recruiter. Okay, this is the Counters Company deck, it seems. The Vizier combo. And if they've got another creature here that... Yeah, this is not great for us. Our Lilies are going to be pretty underwhelming in terms of interaction. I guess we'll play our field out here. And we've just got to start edicting things away. Very far from ideal. This matchup should be fine for us, by the way. Definitely not a matchup I'm afraid of, but given our hand, it's a lot worse than it would otherwise be. Just a more average spread of interaction on our side of things would be very, very powerful against most of their progressions. I guess we do need potentially to get this game log back to keep track of what they found, but they found a noble hierarch for now, at least we know that. Alright, Tarmogoyf. Kind of an awkward one. So, few options here. We could Field of Ruin and then play the Tarmogoyf. I don't think that accomplishes anything. If they've got any utility lands like Gavany Township. You don't see I don't know if that's current. You don't see these decks that often online because it's a pain to click through. But I still think we want to save the field for any potential utility lands like that Township, and I don't think Lily Edict does anything here, so even though this is also underwhelming, it's going to be Tracker into Forest. It's more mana efficient than playing the Tarmogoyf. It's just as mana efficient as Lily, and next turn, if we draw land, then we can have a double spell turn of Goyf into Lily, and potentially take it from there. I mean, it's definitely not looking great for us, but they're finding just more mana dorks, which, I mean, it's very, very good against our Liliana of the Veil, but in terms of assembling the combo, ooh, now that is a spicy card. So, unfortunately, with these Exalted triggers around and the evasion of birds, we are not able to protect her quite yet. So I think we have to slow roll her in the hopes of eventually being able to protect her and having her take over the game. And I don't think playing Lily here accomplishes much, so I'm going to start by cracking a clue, see what we find. Always just play the Tarmogoyf if we don't have anything better. Inquisition of Kozilek, huh? So if they've got Court of Calling in hand, it would be a really good time to snipe that. If they've got Coco, I whiff. If they've got... Oh, God, this is a really tough spot. I think just in case they have Cord mainly, I have to cast this, although I dearly wish it was a Thoughtseize. Vizier, okay. And a Tech Edge. So, if we... Are we going to take a block on the Duskwatch Recruiter if it attacks? That's the big question. I think I might. Yeah, so I'll not attack here. Or do we need to be proactive and start trying to end the game? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to turn this sideways. I really should be winning a race, you know, once I can get my feet under me a little bit more. I'm sure they're just gonna go digging. I would have loved to have had a removal for this Duskwatch Recruiter sometime around here. He's putting in so much work. It is insane. There's another Vizier to replace the one we took away. And there she is. No reason not to yield to those. It's not like we're a lightning bolt deck. Alright. There is a swamp. So the question is... Yeah, so I think we need to take the combo pieces off the field as soon as they show up. So I guess we have to play the Lily, the last hope now. Right. Yeah. Yep, it's just the game plan here. Alright, so Tarmogoyf will protect the Lily just as well, if not better, than Tracker. The only exception is if they have a Path to Exile, but I don't think we can afford to play around that. So, just keep clocking. Attacking first, concealing information. Second main will play the Goyf and will pass. Another Recruiter activation in the end step is going to show us a Knight of the Reliquary. That's that I do know has become more common in these decks. Ooh, Bajuka Bog, brutal shrinking the Goyf. Whew. And they've got a Knight as well, so the value plan is working very, very well for them. This is attacking our Lily, the Last Hope. I think we have to throw the Tarmogoyf away. I think we need to keep chewing through their creatures here. Sadly, I think that's the case. Yeah, I don't see the Goyf growing in time to really compete with some of the other things that they're showing us here. You know, Knight with Exalted Triggers, all that stuff. It's pretty bad. Looking pretty bad, but we still have a lot of really good draws against this deck. We truly do. Kalitas Trader of Get is one of them. I think, is it time to just Windmill Slam the Kalitas and take the Lily up, kill a Noble Hierarch? It might just be. Then we've got the Zombie Chump Train to keep us in the game against the value stuff. Alright. So they can grow the Knight at instant speed by activating this Tectonic Edge, so I cannot attack. I will simply pass. But this Recruiter is just burying us in all that value. They've got a tracker of their own. Talk about value. My goodness, these decks have evolved. And certainly a version of the deck like this is much better against us than one that's more all-in on the combo. They've had a very, very good progression over there as far as not comboing off is concerned. Like, just in terms of value stuff. Man, has it been good. 3-3. Okay. Attacking... What am I missing here that I just can't block with the Kalitas? They don't have anything that I can see. Alright, I might get blown out horribly, but I think I'm going to take the block with Kalitas. Yep, we get some more activations, that's for sure. Oh, do they have a Walking Ballista to follow this up? I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be the worst in the world if they followed up with the Ballista. I mean, granted, that's not great, but finally getting this Recruiter off the field is my consolation prize if that's the case. They have an Eternal Witness. Okay, well, I guess they don't have anything. Maybe they just forgot that they no longer had an Exalted Trigger. Or the second Exalted Trigger, that is. So, let's just keep killing Noble Hierarchs. And now we turn the Kalitas sideways, so they can make the Knight a 5-5, and they can make the Tracker a 4-3, so they can get a combined power of 9. Maybe it's a little too early to turn the Kalitas sideways. Let's just keep chewing through the board. Floated white. Interesting. I'm going to move out of the phase, see what they do. Collected company. Yikes. Finding a recruiter and a vizier. Well, I see. I see. Alright, so now they can... Yeah, but now we can't activate our Kalitas either. Alright, all we can do, I think, here is play out to the board. Well, or do we attack with the Tireless Tracker? I think we want to send the Tracker in, actually, here. See what they do with this. They're going to trade the Knight. Okay, there's no way I can get blown out here, right? Ooh, what if they... Oh, if they get a fetch land, did I just... think I just blew myself out here. See, yeah, darn it. This is what I get. Sorry, guys, I'm just not used to doing this. I'm feeling the pressure of the clock because I'm talking a lot, and then I just, you know, I thought of that like a second too late. Well, that was a waste. That was a major waste here. But what can we do? Yep, so we should have just held the line there. Should have just held the line, not sent in the attack. Realized it just a moment too late. Eternal Witness gonna buy back a Coco. A Coco. Yep. But this army of zombies is doing quite a bit of work, I must say. Alright, we found a Tarmogoyf, we have an Abrupt Decay. What do we do? What do we do? Well, we've got to decay something. I guess we're going to try to keep the combo off our backs. Okay, that worked out just fine. Let's take the Lily up here. I think pitching a Goyf is alright here. I'm just going to play a Tracker simply for the sake of mana efficiency. And here I'm pretty happy to pass. I think our plan now is just to go on the, is to ult the Lily and win that way. Try to keep them off of the combo until then. Another Collected Company, huh? Well, we knew about that one, but that's still no good. So, we need to kill this Devoted Druid before they get to untap. They've got the Tracker. Clues going off. Well, definitely didn't mean to click through that untap step, but I thought I would receive priority again when I let them draw a card. Maybe I clicked twice, I'm not sure. But here they get a free, 2/3 free activation anyway, due to my clicking ability or lack thereof. Alright, they've got all the value, but can they... I mean, this is a really interesting game, for sure, don't get me wrong. This has been crazy and intense. I think we would have been a lot better off if we had just not had a no-interaction start, but, you know, that'll happen to us every now and then. And we're on the verge of ulting with the Lily the Last Hope. See what they can muster here. They're digging furiously. Alright, did they whiff on that? Night of Autumn. Sure. Are they just scooping to our ult? Wow. Okay, I want to say that's a tad premature. I guess they were still live to hit the combo next turn, weren't they? But I don't know, hard to keep track of all that stuff. So, yeah, definitely pretty pumped about that one. That was an intense, intense game. So, this is interesting because we want to kind of side against a combo deck in general while assuming that they're going to board into a value plan. But their value plan was very, very much front and center game one. Obviously, the combo is there, and the combo is the ideal way for them to win, but we have to almost side more against a value deck, in my opinion, than against a combo deck based on what we saw. So it's kind of tough to say, but I think we want to move away from a little bit of discard, even though discard is fine against them. And it's obviously got to be Inquisition coming out over Thoughtseize, simply because Thoughtseize can hit Collected Company. And, discarding against them again is fine, but we need to answer the board more than we need to answer the hand. And it is kind of a grindy, mid-range E value-oriented axis that we're competing on. So let's start off by doing that. Lily of the Veil is fine. I kind of like leveraging exactly one in this matchup. You could leave in two, but we might have more to bring in than to bring out. We might also be able to get away with cutting a land, or maybe getting away with is not the correct word, so much as it is like we need to bring in a high density of action. Nihil Spellbomb is fine. I'll just put that over here in the maybe category, because we could even consider bringing some in. It really depends on what else they have. So we want any sweeper effect we can, which in this case is Languish. Lily the Last Hope is amazing. Engineered Explosives is very good. Deathmark is very good. Collective Brutality is very good. You see what I mean? I don't think we want to go so far as to bring in Surgical. We do want Maelstrom Pulse, and this might be about it. So what if we cut a land, cut a Lily of the Veil? Kitchen Finks is honestly reasonable. So it's between Finks and Spellbomb. Bit of a tough call. Let's try just the one Spellbomb and take it from there. Looks fine to me. Oh, alright. Well, I'm pretty pumped that we got away with the win there. Game one, it was not looking good, but we just kept pace with them. Just, kind of barely keeping up. This hand is pretty great. The mana's a little bit awkward, and potentially, we're potentially in for a painful progression, but I do like this hand. Double Fatal Push is amazing. I was going to push whatever they show me turn one, but apparently I don't even have to do that. Fine with me. And drawing a swamp there was great. Yep, I'm just going to push you. I'm sure this is not entirely unexpected on their part, but nonetheless, it is the play, and then we're just going to start trying to pull ahead on cards. See if our Bobby sticks around. I expect that their only removal of note will be Path to Exile, so if they're going to deal with him, they might have to ramp us, which is very good for a potential tracker as well. Gonna, of course, depend on what they do here. Knight of the Reliquary, well, I can handle that. So we reveal a swamp. Beautiful. Alright, I think we want a double spell turn here. So let's go ahead, get our Revolt trigger. Some tension here between leaving basics in the deck against Path to Exile and being kind to our life total, but I'll shock. I will push. I will scooze. This is looking good. I am wary now of a Collected Company. They might be at that 4 mana threshold, or maybe not quite. They've got a tracker and no land. Well, this is just looking better and better. Okay, their tracker is powerful enough that I think we should kill it rather than go tracker into land of our own, especially because we have a 5th land to go tracker into land next turn. So let's open with the Thoughtseize. Ooh, wait. Yeah, we just have to play the swamp then. Yep, okay. Open with the Thoughtseize. Take away a collected company. We can answer that Shalai with another trophy. So they have Recruiter, Cord, and Shalai. I am liking our chances here. They've got some powerful stuff, but so do we. We're putting them to their 4th land for Shalai for future Cocos. That is not ideal. However, we are on our way to victory here. There's the Shalai. Bob is going to show them a Tarmogoyf, eh? Okay, well, we cannot quite go tracker into land and still trophy away the Shalai, and of course I think we need to do that. We want to just keep turning our thing sideways. So, I guess we'll begin by trophying here. See what else see what this does for them if they get a plains, and then maybe they have a path. Let's attack. Alright, they don't have that. So what do we do? Do we care to take the Cord? Or do we... Well, we can't play the Tarmogoyf, so yeah, let's just take away that Cord of Calling. They've got an Ooze and a Recruiter, huh? So what does that make us want to do? With this Blooming Marsh. So if they play only the Ooze next turn, yeah, I think we need to play out the Marsh. We need to get another green source out there. Okay, this might help them stabilize pretty well, but would love to rip a kill spell here. And it's a Brutality. Well, that's not quite it, but it's not that bad either. So what if I just attack with both? Forcing them? What if I only attack with my Ooze, actually? That might just be better. Was thinking I could just kill them on the follow-up. What? Sorry, I'm babbling a little bit. I'm gonna attack with both, and then I can kill their Ooze with my Brutality, which might be worth the 2-for-1. I'm gonna do it. This might be terrible. Huh. You got it. Okay, I like that a lot. I like my chances a lot now. Don't know if I'm missing something, but I'm very happy to make that trade. Alright, they're going to have a lot of work to do to not take lethal next turn. Especially because we've got the reach in hand. Do we have them? We have them. Alright. Alright. That is a great way to start off a league. We took down Abs and Company, Counters Company, whatever you'd like to call it, and a very value-oriented build of said deck, mind you. We took them down 2-0. Now, of course, it goes without saying that those value-oriented 75s are a lot better off against us than than a Counters Company deck that's all in on the combo, because of course they're very fragile to disruption that way. And like I believe I mentioned in Game 1, that is becoming the norm from what I've seen. Again, this deck is underrepresented online relative, in my opinion, to how powerful it is, because clicking through, and, you can't demonstrate an infinite loop, so you have to actually click through everything to get a win. But, so you don't necessarily see this deck as often as you quote-unquote should when playing MTGO. But from what I do know, I think these value-oriented builds are becoming the norm. They are just kind of more resilient against the meta in general, especially because we have seen a tick up in BGX after Trophy. Our favorite archetype, Golgari, is still doing well in the meta. Junda's still doing well in the meta, so yeah. Before that, Mardu Pyromancer was doing well. So these decks have adopted the value plan, as almost not even a plan B, as a plan 1A, or A1. And of course that gives them a lot more resilience against a deck like ours. But Game 1, we had a Mulda 6, we had a really medium start. We had 3 lands, I think 2 Tireless Trackers and a Liliana was our opening 6. And we drew another Liliana of the Veil right off the top, and of course they went super wide. They went so wide with just mana dorks into mana dorks into Duskwatch Recruiter finding more mana dorks, that our Lilianas of the Veil were very, very underwhelming. On top of that, they ended up getting a really solid value plan going mid-game, where they had a couple giant Knights of the Reliquary. They had a Tireless Tracker of their own, taking a leaf out of our book. They had they threatened to assemble the combo. They I think had 3 Viziers of Remedies all told. We took one out of their hand, and I think we answered another couple on board. But we stayed in the game. We stayed in the game because Tireless Tracker kept a little bit of pressure on, did a little bit of blocking duty. I then threw her away in an ill-considered attack, which I will blame on trying to commentate while playing. I noticed it literally 2 seconds after I made the attack, so it's something that would not have escaped me under normal circumstances. But hey, this is part of the learning curve, so thanks for bearing with me through it. But yeah, the tracker, until I sent her on a kamikaze mission anyway, she kept us in the game. Lily the Last Hope, I think, was our big MVP Game 1, though. Just cleanly taking up, killing things left, right, and center. And indeed, eventually, she's what caused them to scoop. We were going to ult with her when we untapped, and that's just something they didn't feel they could beat. And indeed, they literally could not beat, unless they found the combo in the next turn. Of course, Kalidas was just as good. Kalidas was incredible, stabilizing the board, gaining a bit of life. And it's not a synergy you'll see very often, because usually if you're about to ult with Lily the Last Hope, or you're running away with the game with Kalidas, the game's just over, right? But when the opponents got a massive value train running as well, we were about to see the OP synergy between Kalidas making a bunch of zombies and Liliana the Last Hope's emblem saying you make X plus 2 zombies, where X is the amount of zombies you control. So, of course, the horde, the undead horde, just swells to uncountable numbers when those two are off and running together. So that was a really cool Game 1. I'm really excited, actually, to go back and watch that. I wish I could erase my poor attack with the tracker, but besides that, it was pretty great. And then here in Game 2, we had a more traditional Golgari curve with more early interaction, a couple early fatal pushes, a well-timed Thoughtseize, Trophy showing up big here. Of course, its predecessor in some ways, or competitor Abrupt Decay, could have taken care of that tracker more cleanly, but the Shalai is something that we might have struggled to deal with before Trophy. We had a Scooz and a Confidant on board, and we would have had to take some turns off, maybe just develop our board a little bit more, try to sink mana into the ooze. but we were able to just trophy her out of the way, just keep chugging along, keep cracking in with our bears, and that's what put the big pressure on. Then, of course, there's an interesting decision here at the end as to whether to attack with Bob and Ooze or only the Ooze. I'll take a second to explain it here. I took the line to attack with Bob and Ooze concurrently. Why? Well, they had 2 green sources only. They had Overgrown Tomb and Temple Garden. We had also 2 green sources at the time untapped, I believe. So, if they just say, I'm just going to say, okay, you assign the block, I'll pass priority, I will move to damage. The onus is then on them. If they also pass, then I'm fine with that, because, like, the Ooze was very good for both of us at that stage of the game, potentially, but they're the ones who need to stabilize. I'm the aggro here. I'm the beatdown, they're the control. So they're the ones who derive more value out of a big, beefy blocker along the ground that gains them life. So I'm very happy to trade my Ooze for their Ooze. If they had tried to start fighting over the graveyard stuff, I win, because they have to activate first, because the onus is on them. So I'll win the activation wars, realizing that they simply assigned the block, and then we traded Oozes, and it was fine. Now, the other thing they could have done is assign the block to the Dark Confidant. I would have been fine with that as well, because then, of course, they have to eat something with the Ooze. I can compete with that, over that, with my own Ooze, and simply trade my Confidant for their Ooze. And if I win the activation wars there, which I would, then I end up with a 4/4 Scavenging Ooze as well. So that is even better for me. So really it was a no-win situation for the opponent. It was not the most obvious-looking attack in the world, though. I think at least some players would have said, well, they've got a Scavenging Ooze that can grow, so I'll just only send in my Ooze. But if you take a second to think these things through, and you realize that a simple trade is the Ooze for Ooze is the best-case scenario for the opponent there, and that's also fine with us, then you just send in both. And, of course, if I just got that all wrong, or I just misclicked or something, or my opponent had something unexpected that I didn't know about, I still had the option to finish off the Ooze with this Collective Brutality. So, Dark Confidant doing a ton of work this game, getting in for, this is turn 7 that the opponent scooped up on. We played the Bob turn 2, and I believe he attacked every single turn. So, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. Bob got in for 8 points of damage, drew us a bunch of cards, and was just generally an all-star. So, this was night and day between game 1. The only 3-drop plus card we even saw here was a Tireless Tracker when we went through 18 cards. So we had a nice low curve, we had a lot of efficient interaction, and we closed out the game relatively quickly considering what they were up to. Took away their Coco, fought through Tracker and Shalai and Skoos, took away their Cord. Feels good, man, feels good. So anyway, that about sums up the wrap-up. Nice way to start off the league, like I said, and as always, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to see this content thrive, to support this channel, I encourage you, please, to like, share, subscribe, and comment, including giving me your feedback on how these pieces of live footage are going as opposed to the replays, which of course we still don't have access to, sadly. And also to visit my Patreon page. Link is in the description below. And consider supporting the channel financially as well. I would dearly love it, and the more support I get on all fronts, the more time I can justify spending on this content. So I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a really cool matchup in my opinion. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. I hope to, maybe I'll plan to just show this whole league. Maybe I'll just show this whole league. I don't know when I'll have the time to play a league match next. So the league might be broken up a little bit, or maybe not. We'll see how things go. But yeah, maybe I'll plan to show this whole league game by game. So anyway, stay tuned to the channel for that and for more content to come. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you for the next video. Talk to you soon.